today, the stars aligned, where one of the girls who I had on my list 2 weeks ago when I wrote this out happened to be here today, is en route. The fabulous Kerri Kasem here. What I find so beautiful is, your father, of course, Kerri Kasem's father is Casey Kasem, who we have grown up with. One of the most amazing disc jockey radio personalities of our generation, and that you have carried that on with your voice. In so many ways, your voice to interview people, to humanitarian efforts, to shine the light on injustices as a humanitarian, and I find that so brave. And what I'm trying to do here is that you have this role model, so you could either choose to go with that, right, and take advantage of that gift, or you could say screw it and do something totally different. But not only do you take advantage of it, you exploded with it in your own artful way. And so I can't even stand.
We're in New York and we see a Broadway star.
I can't even stand that because I will be distracted unless you pop your face in here. I will be distracted.
Face in here too. We should all say,
get in here.
All these awesome people.
Please get in here.
Get puffy, please.
Okay.
Look at this group.
I mean, I can't even stand.
Yeah, I know.
Look at all that beautifulness. So we all know and love the Kerri here, but oh my gosh, what the hell, Mr. Barber? I mean, really, the Phantom of the Opera happened to pop his face in here.
Cool.
And but this is your time. What motivated you to with Kasem Cares? That was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I want you to just sort of give me a nutshell of that, because everyone has some cause that they want to do.
Yeah. Guys, I know that Denice, you know a lot about what I do, but my father, Casey Kasem, was, it says rotate your phone. I hope we're still on. There we go.
Great.
My father, Casey Kasem, was taken away, was isolated in 2013 and 2014. My stepmother said, "You're never going to see your dad again." And she said it not only to us, she wouldn't answer any of his friends' phone calls. She fired his staff. She literally isolated my father. Nobody could see him. And I thought, okay, well, we'll just call Adult Protective Services. And we did, and they couldn't do anything. We called the police. They couldn't do anything. Once you turn 18 years old in the United States of America, you lose all rights to your parents. And people do not know that. It's very true. So it could be a caretaker, that could be a spouse, that could be another sibling, it could be somebody from the outside world. It doesn't have to be family, but they can literally come in, start taking care of your ailing parent, and if it's in a residential home or an assisted living, they will say you can't let any visitors in. Or if it's a residential home, they have the right to say who comes and goes in the house. And since your parent's very sick, the police or Adult Protective Services will listen to the one in charge. And so it's unfathomable. People don't believe it. But we were told by the police, nothing we can do. We were told by Adult Protective Services, nothing we can do. I went to court. I'm going to sum this up because it's a very long story. We fought for many, many months to see my dad. And even though we had a power of attorney, even though we had video of him saying what he wanted, and signing the power of attorney, even though he said to the court-appointed lawyer and the court-appointed PVP attorney, probate attorney, and Dr. Trader, I want to see my children. Not only do I want to see my children, I want them making medical decisions on my behalf. Even with all of that, she couldn't grant us visitation because there was no law in the books that would allow her to give visitation without going through an entire fight over power of attorney or guardian. It costs $350,000. Who has that kind of money, right? Most people don't have enough money for a retainer, let alone an entire fight just to see your parents. You don't want guardianship over them. You don't want power of attorney. You just want to see your parents. So I changed the law.
I was just going to say, you're one of those people who really sacrifice. I felt like I followed your journey.
You're way over there.
Because it's fine. No. I one half is really awesome. Literally, I followed this journey, and it seemed like that's all you were doing. And the more I delved into it, it's like it's one of those things you don't think about until it hits you.
That's
you
right.
know.
That's right.
And I just recently lost my grandmother last year to but was in and out of a lot of these homes, and I thought of you because I saw the all-pervasive control that they have, whether it was a sheet of drugs that they give them without telling you.
Over drug. And here's the formula for these people. It's it's super abusive, but they isolate, over medicate, steal the estate, and cremate. That literally, we see it all the time. And whether the estate, and literally estate doesn't mean
Someone needs
house.
to write a rap song out of
though.
that.
And people go, oh, this house. No, it's anything they own. They take it, and it runs the socioeconomic gamut. It goes from people that have millions of dollars and famous last names to people who have nothing. Now, if you put somebody in guardianship, you get paid to take care of that. So you see guardians who don't know family members. Look this up. Look up. This is a very interesting story. Most people can't believe it. It hit all the news stations. The New Yorker just did an article on this 2 weeks ago. Look up Julie Belshi, Belshe. She works for Kasem Cares. She fought pro se, meaning by herself, to get her parents back. It took 2 years from a guardian. She had two parents that were completely living alone. They had their mental capacity completely. And there was a woman named April Parks who decided that these two elderly people were incapacitated, need to be under guardianship. When you put somebody under guardianship, you take all of their rights away. All of their constitutional rights are stripped. They're basically like a vegetable. So they can't vote, they can't drive, they can't make medical decisions. They have their bank accounts are taken away from them. So April Parks went in, and she's done this to hundreds of people, went in and said, you have three choices. You can come with me to a nice assisted living facility. You can go to a mental institution, or you can go into jail. So like, oh, there's a mistake here. We'll go with you, but we'll clear it up. Long story short, because it was 2 years of this, she sold their house, she sold his Purple Heart, she sold all their clothes, she sold all their belongings, everything, left them destitute, took everything they had. Julie Belshi, after 2 years, won. She got the judge off the bench. She won her parents back. They're destitute. Now she has to take care of them. Yeah, no, but it's fine. They're back and they're free now. Most people die in guardianship. So it's a big, big win. But now April Parks, who has done this to hundreds, maybe thousands of people, is now in jail on 207 felony accounts. She killed so many people. She left families completely destitute. And when they opened up her storage facility, they found 50 or more urns of people who she cremated and didn't give to the families. So she's in jail now along with her whole team.
This is a dark area that people don't want to, like, people will fight for the rights of young children. People will fight more for the rights of freaking animals than they will for the elderly.
Very true.
Like, it's
very true.
And yet, when it is so encompassing, it's not only just, well, that person, they're at the end of their life. What it affects so much. Their legacy, their estate.
It affects everything. You don't work your whole life. You don't work your whole life to leave something to your kids and your grandkids just so some outsider, a lawyer or guardian, can come in and take everything. Right. You didn't work for that lawyer. You didn't work for some guardian or conservator that doesn't know you to give them all your belongings. That's not why you work your whole life. You work to leave something to your family. At least most people do. Or their pets, or something they care about. Right. Or philanthropy. They go and they leave it to their alma mater.
But it's whatever they choose.
But what's scary about this? Oh, Naz Barudi's on. She sees this all the time. I love you, Naz. If you want will and estate plans done by an honest woman for very cheap, Naz Barudi. I just have to tell you, we did a radio show for a year together.
Okay, good.
She's amazing, and she's honest. So she sees this happen to people all the time. In fact, Naz had somebody bring in their mom, who was clearly not in the right mind, to change all of their will and estate plans so they would get it. And she said, basically, F you, I'm not doing this to your mom. She's not competent. Get out of my office. A lot of lawyers, once you pay them, they'll just sign, yeah, they're competent. I'll change the will and estate plans over. It's unbelievable what is happening to the elderly.
So as a resource, by the way, listening to you, I think I lost a pound from my metabolism just firing up. You have so much energy and passion in it.
Thank you.
And the world would just be a better place if everyone did everything with an eighth of that passion that you have.
That's, you know what, I'm speaking at the Growth Con. If you guys don't follow Grant Cardone, follow Grant Cardone right now. He will change your life. I'm speaking at the Growth Con, and Grant's like, what if people lived their lives, like they couldn't see the person they cherished and loved most in their life, that they were dying, whether it's your child, your animal, your dad, your mom, and that necessity level. My necessity level was so great. I had to see my dad again, that I did things I didn't believe I could. I did things I didn't know how. I literally not only won a case, lawyers told me I would never win. I won conservatorship over my father, over his wife of 34 years. That doesn't happen. Second, I changed the law. And I didn't only change the law in California, I've changed it in 11 states, and 20 others have adopted laws like mine. I've gone into politics. It's the last thing I wanted to do with my life, right? But the necessity level was so high that I did it. Now, what if people live their life like that? What if you lived your life like that? Like your career, your relationship, your necessity level was that high. Where would you be? And that's what I'm going to talk about. And so I'm very excited that I'm speaking there. I know, I'm very excited.
It's such an honor that they're going to have your energy, your viewpoint, and it's coming from a different angle.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like so many. We get a lot of information that has a lot of the same harmonic, because this law follows certain rules, but sometimes we need to have it from a male or from a female, or we need to have it from a blonde or a brunette, or we need to have it from a man in a suit, or we need to have it from a girl with cleavage.
It's true.
Like whatever that angle is, so that hits us, and as long as it's productive and pro-survival, that's all we're trying to do.
Very true. Very true. And it's great that you're creating all this awareness, but putting people on. It's amazing. That's, it's true. Some people a light bulb will go off because that's, it's a guy or it's a girl or they're talking about certain things. So a light bulb might not go off for somebody listening to this. It might be an interesting story.
How many times has your mom said, I've told you that, but you didn't listen to me?
So true. Oh, so true. Or your relationship. You're like, if you did this, this, and this, it would be, and they hear it from somebody else and they're like, oh, and they're doing it. I'm like, wait, I told you that a year ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to hear it from somebody, and sometimes light bulbs go off, like this, when the story hits you, and it hits you personally, and it hits you deeply. So if if your parents are still living or you're getting older, please, please, please get your will and estate plans in order. It is so important. They can be changed. So this is what I suggest, and I tell this to people all over the country when I speak. Pull your phone out, get your parents in front of it, and have them say, if anybody in my care, when I become incapacitated, ill, or very sick.
This is a great tip. Okay, wait, videotape them or audio it?
Yes, no, video. You want a video with your camera phone, or any phone, video, or whatever. Just videotape them, have them hold a newspaper saying, if anybody in my care keeps me from my children, name them. Keeps me from my friends and family, name them. They should be removed from my care immediately. When I am sick, I want to be surrounded by my family. When I'm dying, I want to be surrounded by my family. Because the first thing to any abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, elder abuse, is isolation. That's the first thing that occurs, because then you can physically, you can medically, you can sexually or verbally assault. And that is what they do. And financially, abuse them. So please get your parents, get yourself on camera stating that, hold a newspaper, say I'm completely competent at this time. And if your parents are kind of losing some mental capacity, have a doctor there. But it's so important, and you want to give that tape to all family members. So if somebody comes in, whether it's, a spouse, and that could be a second wife, a second husband, a third or fourth, whatever that, we see it everywhere. If it's a sibling that the family doesn't get along with, if it's a caretaker, that it's very, very important. Please get your will and estate plans in order. Film everything, and film your parents and what they want and their wishes, and have many copies of it. Also, please, 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 if you're getting your will and estate plans done, don't leave it to one person. Checks and balances, 2 or 3 different people. You need to do that.
And can they get some of those resources from
Naz Baruti and Kasem Cares? But Naz is there. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm doing my will and estate plans with her.
Okay.
So I trust her. But go to somebody you trust. Go to somebody you love. Get your will and estate plans done. And
but they can go to Kasem Cares as an overall resource, because you're in front of me, and that's where I want them to.
Yes, and me too on Facebook. Please friend me. I talk to everybody. I comment on everything. I have a public Facebook page and a private Facebook page. But check out Kasem Cares. It's KASEM, KasemCares.org, and leave me a message.
Yeah. And I didn't even like this. We can't even get into it. But the fact that how you interview people and what you pull out.
We'll do this again, and we'll talk about the other part of my life too. There's so much more.
People want to know about that.
Yes.
All right.
Love you. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Oh my gosh. I'm just going to go now so that I can, give some loves.